Hey everyone, welcome back. Chris McCormick, Vice President of Tour and Education, joined by Blake Smith, our lead master fitter here in our Scottsdale studio. And today we've got an opportunity to run through new Scotty Cameron 2023 Super Select putter line. And Blake, you want to give us a little rundown of what we can expect with some of these new toys that are coming out?
Yeah, so they've got some new interesting additions to their putter line. One, they came out with the Plus. So the Plus means that it's going to be a little bit wider. So they've got the Squareback, and then they've got the traditional Newport. We'll use Newport as an example. The Newport Plus has widened out. So they took some of the weight and they moved it back. They have really changed the hosel here. So they did an I-beam hosel. There's a really cool kind of industrial look here. They've taken some of this weight and they've distributed it on the heel and toe, making this sweet spot really, really big. So they're really looking to maximize sweet spot all the way through their line. That's one of the offerings that they do. They do the traditional Newport 2, Newport 2.5 stuff that they've had for a while. Then they're going to come out with the Go Low line. They're going to change a little bit in there. They really show off their milling this year. They've also really dug deep here. So the drilling, the milling in here has gotten very deep, and they took some of that weight and they distributed it as well. So they're really focused on taking some of that weight and really changing the MOI on these putters.
I'm excited to get in and give these guys a little test and see what they're all about. So before we get in and start testing these guys, make sure to give us a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and say with that, let's test these guys out.
Looks, it's iconic. This is the Newport 2. I mean, everybody knows it. I'm excited to see how it feels with that dual milling.
Give it a roll. Let's see what you got.
All right. Yeah, I mean, nice and soft. I mean, a lot of feel is based on sound too. So when you're hitting a Titleist ball with a Titleist putter, they take that into account. I mean, that's an iconic feel. Definitely the Scotty Cameron feel that I love.
So compared to traditional deep mill, from what we've seen in some of the previous generations on the Select series, anything that you notice here with now that new face design?
I can tell you that it might feel like the ball's coming off maybe just a little bit faster, like it's a little hotter, which is a good thing because most people leave putts short.
Absolutely.
But overall, it's the feel that we all know and love.
Sound had a little more pace to it.
Yep. Yeah, that's very solid. All right, next one here is the Newport 2 Plus. Interesting design here. It's kind of right in between the Squareback and the Newport 2. So they've drawn some of that weight back. So that's an interesting design. That's going to make it a lot more stable coming through because that Squareback, when I putt with that thing, it's really stable. It just wants to go straight.
Sure.
So this is going to be an interesting one. Overall, though, I mean, it's just like a big version of the Newport 2, which is, obviously I like that design. I'm excited to see how this one feels too. I'm going to hit some off the toe and the heel on purpose to check the MOI a little bit.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, let's roll it. See what you think.
We'll go off the toe here. Oh yeah. Nice and stable. Go a little off the heel. Yep. So those went right in the middle, off the toe and the heel. Let's try to hit one in the middle. And I missed the one in the middle. Yeah, the sound and feel is a little faster. So that dual milling did something. Yeah, that's very stable. That's a cool design. I like that. I like that blending of two models. I think that was a good idea.
For the majority of us out there that might not necessarily be the best putters in the world, a little extra stability, but still maintaining that classic design could be a good option for us.
When I'm fitting, I'm gonna try to get the lie angle right, I'm gonna get the loft right, I'm gonna get the length right, but not everybody's gonna hit it dead center. So I'm looking for something, if somebody's like, hey, I want a Newport 2, I'm gonna introduce this one and be like, yeah, you might wanna try this one, see how that one goes.
Now transitioning into a newer addition into the family, going into the Newport 2.5 Plus.
All right, the Newport 2.5 Plus. Overall, this design is something that really is eye-catching for me. Really, the big difference here is just that hosel construction. So it's just going to be a little bit more of the small slant, more toe hang. So it's going to be a little bit more right bias. When we're fitting putters, we're looking at left and right biased, as you know. So this is going to be the one that I'm going to pull if somebody has a tendency to miss it left. So we're going to see how that goes. Yep. That's the feel, that's the look. It's just a little bigger, which is great.
The more raw industrial finish to these, I really like.
Yeah.
I mean, just the visual aesthetics of it, nice. I like the sound coming off of that new face. And I mean, the fact that they had just left, I mean, basically all of the different coloration off of what you see visually at a dress just makes it look really cool looking.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing a really good job of visual for a while, and I think they just made it a little bit better here.
Jumping back into a slant neck, notice any feel difference with the additional toe hang that you saw compared to plumber's neck there that we saw?
Yeah, so it makes me feel like I've got to release everything. So that's what I thought for a long time was exactly how I needed to putt. That's not necessarily how I need to do it. So this is a good example of this is something that I want to fit into, but I don't necessarily fit into. I fit into a face balance mallet style putter, which is what I putt with.
Got it. Well, with that, transitioning from 2.5 Plus now into Squareback, I mean, we're going to increase the size even a little more and should bring you, a little closer to home compared to what you're used to.
Yeah, let's check it out. All right, the Squareback. So this one, a couple generations old now. So this is, I think, the second generation that they've done with this one. This is an interesting one because it has left biased characteristics, especially with the offset here, give you a little bit more face rotation, but they've pulled some of that weight back. So they've just neutralized it. This looks like it's just a little bit different than the Plus version, but we'll see how it feels.
I mean, one thing I immediately noticed was overall width, front to back.
Yep.
Not a ton of difference, but I mean, visually at a dress compared to what we saw with that 2.5 Plus, I mean, the pocket significantly deeper just from a visual perspective at a dress.
Yeah, and I can tell you that first putt felt a little, it didn't thud as much. So yeah, it seems like there's less material behind that face.
Okay.
Yeah, it's got a little different sound to it.
It does, yeah. There's definitely a little more of an audible click coming off of the face.
Tell you, when I put it down, it looks like it hugs the ground. So it just looks like it's like...
It's the low rider.
Yeah. It feels like it's a little bit lighter, like off the, like the ball's coming off a little bit lighter. It's not quite as fast, maybe. So maybe some, people are gonna like that feel a little bit more than the fast feel. As fitters, we're looking for the ball to get to the hole.
Absolutely.
Because if it doesn't get there, it's not going in. So, but yeah, I mean, overall, they're all in the same boat. Very forgiving. Obviously, an iconic look and feel. It feels like it wants to go just straight through the zone, and it's not. It doesn't want to.
Who doesn't want
twist
that?
anything. Yeah, right. You want it to be as stable as possible. So, well, Scotty Cameron definitely has it figured out.
It's definitely been tried, true, winner on tour, and one of the most iconic putter designers that we've had an opportunity to test for sure. So Blake, pulling up the data here and taking a look, 4 models that we had an opportunity to test. We were Newport 2, Newport 2 Plus, Newport 2.5 Plus, and then Squareback 2. So taking a look at these, anything that jumps out to you as relatively interesting, unique, different from what you expected?
So with this ball data, when I look through the data, like when I'm doing a fitting, I'm gonna look at how that ball is launched. Really, I'm looking for left and right tendencies. So when I look at this and I see the Newport 2, 1.9 degrees right, when I look at that, bells go off, because at 1 degree on the right side, on a 10-foot putt, if it's dead straight, you're gonna probably burn the edge or miss the putt. At 1.9, that's definitely going to miss.
Yeah,
so,
that's missing the cup completely at 10 feet.
yeah, when I'm looking at that, I'm like, okay, well, that's a lot. Newport 2.5 plus is just 1 degree, so that's not a lot, but that Squareback at 0.3, that's looking like, just based on ball data where it's launching, that's pretty darn good. So when I look at that, all that data up there is pretty similar, but that's the part that's really going to stand out to me.
Fair enough. And I mean, I would also say that essentially verifies and validates the design of each one of these heads. I mean, when it comes to MOI and overall stability, with the sizing as we progressively get a little larger. So transitioning from what we were looking at on ball data over to club data. Like we alluded to, moment of truth, I mean, one of the biggest selling points for whether or not a putter is going to work for us or not is facial awareness and consistency that we have in being able to return that face to square at impact. And I'm seeing a number up here that's really jumping out to me.
Yeah, there's a number in there that's perfect. 0.0. That doesn't happen.
You can't improve off of that.
Yeah.
And with a deviation at 0.4, I mean, you're average inside of a half degree and 0 down.
Yeah, I would say that putter fits me the best. That's really 90% of our putter fitting strategy, is to get that face to be squared at impact. Now, when you go up to the top and you see that Newport 2 putter, that's 1.1 degree open, so that one's not a fit. And then when we saw the previous screen, obviously it's launching to the right. So, but as I went down, I got a little bit better, and then I got to that Squareback. That Squareback was pretty much perfect for me.
Out of the 4 we had an opportunity to test, obviously, like we talked about, most stability out of any of these models here.
Yep.
And for you being traditionally more of a mallet style putter, I mean, this is going to be the closest thing that we have when it comes to MOI and stability. So not a huge surprise that we landed here as far as consistency and facial awareness.
Yeah, that's like a hybrid putter, so it's like a blowlet. It's like a blade mallet. So yeah, I mean, that's as I said before, when you're putting through and you feel like something just wants to stay square, that's the putter. That's the putter that fits the best.
As always, with any type of recommendation we're going to make, highly suggest, make sure, book a fitting with us, come test them out for yourself.